and welcome to the podcast. Okay, so I feel like we need to debrief about the new moon solar eclipse. We need to tarot, we need to talk, we need a debrief. And so I think that we need to start making this a more regular segment on the podcast because my phone's been blowing up. People, my friends, clients, family, you name it. People are asking about this eclipse energy. What the heck is going on with the cosmos? Just when we thought how it might show up for us, something completely different happened. I've got my own eclipse story, and I want to open up the table for all of you to share your eclipse stories. We need to debrief. Let's be honest. We need to consult the tarot. We need to share our stories because this was one heck of a new moon solar eclipse. We just had it on October the 2nd at 10 degrees Libra. It's a new moon. Whenever it's a new moon, the sun and the moon are together. That's always a new moon, but this one particularly was a solar eclipse because it was super close to the south node, which was at 6 degrees of Libra. And not only that, but this is the final eclipse that is occurring with Pluto in Capricorn. That's right. Pluto has been moving through Capricorn since 2008, and it's been retrograding back and forth. We've had a little taste of what Pluto in Aquarius will feel like, what we will experience. This is its final retrograde into Capricorn. And then on I've got the date right here, 19th, on November the 19th, Pluto moves into Aquarius once and for all. We will never experience Pluto in Capricorn ever again. And let me just talk on this just for a hot minute before I share my crazy eclipse story with you, open up the table to hear about yours as well. And then we're going to do a tarot read on this eclipse and just see if we can get back to something, sharing some kind of normalcy, because nothing feels normal anymore. Is anyone else feeling that way regarding the cosmos? This is a whole new world that we have been experiencing. I feel like we really need to share our stories so that we can support one another through these crazy cosmic times. But first, let me just talk about Pluto and Aquarius. I've done a video on the big lessons from Pluto going through Capricorn since 2008. Right when Pluto entered Capricorn in 2008, the market crashed. So there's that. On a global scale, we've been seeing things like this. Top-down structures have been crumbling. And I talked about that in my previous video, what have been the lessons on a global scale, as well as in our own personal lives. And I'll walk you through the 12 houses just to see where Pluto has been going through Capricorn in your birth chart. So go back and watch that video. But I will say I had an experience at this new moon solar eclipse on October the 2nd that is so reminiscent to this Pluto, its final stretch through Capricorn. And so whenever a planet hits the very beginning of the sign or the very end, we're talking the 0-degree mark or the 29-degree mark. And currently in the skies, Pluto is at 29 degrees of Capricorn. So it's coming to a crunch. It's coming to the crescendo. It's the final lessons of Pluto going through Capricorn. And we're seeing it. We're seeing the top-down structures crumbling. We're seeing it in the news. We're seeing it in our lives. We're seeing the final of the evil, if you will, what needs to die within the Capricorn structures of the global economy as well as in our own lives. And Capricorn is the greatest of all time. There's absolutely no question about it. It is the greatest of all time. It is the goat going up the mountain. But Capricorn is also things like politics, structures, institutions, religions, all of the old world structures that perhaps are not serving humanity anymore. And so have I got a story for you of what happened to me at the new moon solar eclipse. And I want to hear, are there more stories like this? Do you have your own story of how this new moon, this final eclipse while Pluto is at the very tail end of the Capricorn story for all of us. Did you also experience something like I did? Did you see it in the news? Did you see it in your personal life? Did you see something that needs to crumble and it happened right at the eclipse? And it coincides with your personal life and it coincides with what's going on in the collective and the global community. And it is that final hurrah of Pluto. Pluto kills off things. And I hate to sound fear-based because that's not at all what I'm trying to do, but Pluto kills off what is no longer serving us in our personal lives as well as in the global economy. And so Pluto has been killing off all of those things that I mentioned, like those institutions, those religions, those structures, those political systems, the banking systems, all of those top down structures that aren't working anymore. And so have I got a story for you? And let me paint the picture. Okay, it was October the 1st, so it was the night before. And the solar eclipse, new moon solar eclipse, that was at 10 degrees of Libra. In my part of the world, which is I live in Western Canada, we're in PST time. So it hit on October the 2nd, just before 12 noon. So picture it. Here I am, just after dinner, up in my bedroom in the upstairs of my house. And I was watching TV. I was watching a fantastic documentary on the Tragically Hip. It's on Prime. So I don't know if that's just Prime Canada, but the Tragically Hip are the greatest Canadian band of all time. Mic drop. So I was enjoying that, minding my own damn business. And this is what I always say about eclipses. You could be at home doing exactly what I was doing, sitting in your bedroom, minding your own damn business, and the eclipse will hit. And that's exactly what happened to me. And I just had to share it with you. It has shaken me. I am shook, as my teenage daughter would say. I am shook. And it's taken me a while to sit here and talk about it. So I have been working on my energy, clearing out my energy in order to talk about it. And I just felt like we need to debrief after these big eclipses. I need to make this more regular on the channel. So I'm going to do that. We're going to consult the tarot. We're going to debrief. We're going to share our stories in the comments. And so here it goes. Okay, so I'm just going to backtrack a bit about my eclipse story. So I moved into a new community, my husband and I, and we have 4 kids. We're a blended family with 6 of us living in a big house. We had to get ourselves a big house. And so we live in a beautiful neighborhood, brand new homes. And everybody on my street moved into these brand new homes. They're exactly the same house, basically, built at the same time. And we all moved in 1 year ago, almost exactly last August. Okay, so we all moved in last August. We've all gotten to know each other, just out doing our lawns and this and that, and very smiley. Everyone's driving nice cars. This is a very nice neighborhood. This is not at all to come across conceited. I'm just trying to paint the picture for you, okay? So get to know your neighbors a little bit. Everybody seems great, and you're just always smiling. Everybody's driving the best cars. Nice neighborhood, okay? Friendly people. Okay, we live close to the best schools. Our kids can walk to school. It's kind of like the dream neighborhood. It's the dream place to be. Okay, have I said a little story for you? Again, not trying to come across a certain way, just trying to paint the picture of my eclipse story, which shocked me to the core. Okay, and again, we're remembering Pluto's ending in Capricorn, breaking down the old world structures that are no longer serving anyone. Okay. New moon solar eclipse hitting. This is all about a fresh new beginning, getting real about relationships, being like the Aries. The North Node is in Aries, encouraging all of us to be independent, do the damn thing, make the decision, stand up, be a hero. Okay, if you go back and see my video, that's exactly what I said. These are exactly the themes that I'm working with. Okay, so I've painted a picture of the neighborhood. Lived here for just over a year. Okay, then October the 1st, I'm minding my own damn business. I am watching The Tragically Hip on Prime. Amazing documentary. Please do watch it. Greatest Canadian band of all time. Brought me back to my high school days. My husband and I, we went to high school together. We watched the documentary together. It's the best music. It was like Gord Downey, he's the front man of the Hip, and we tragically lost him to a brain tumor, and they go through the whole story, and the band shares their heart and soul. I can't say enough good about this documentary. So we finished dinner, done the dishes, went upstairs to the bedroom to watch our Prime. Again, minding our own damn business, staying at home, doing nothing. And what happened, you asked? Oh, what happened? Here is my new moon solar eclipse story that shocked the crap right out of me. I'm still in shock, and I've been working on the energy work around it. So I started to hear a fight. I started to hear what sounded like two men fighting. So I pressed pause. I went straight to the window, and I saw my neighbor beating the shit out of his teenage son. I opened the window. I started yelling immediately. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And then by about the third time I said that, and I'm yelling, it's almost like I shocked him alive, awake. It's almost like he was in such a rage, beating up his teenage son, that by me screaming at him 3 times, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? It's like he woke up. Hands off his son. His son was up against the fence, being beaten by his father. And I said, what are you doing? And he looked up at me, because again, my room was up here. He's down below in the yard doing what he's doing to his son. He looks at me like deer in headlights. He's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I'm like, what is going on? What is going on? I kept saying very loudly. I said, who? He's just looking at me. He kept saying, I'm sorry. I said, who is that person? Who is that person? He said, it's my son. Which I thought it was, but it happened so fast. I wasn't sure who these people were. I knew it was my neighbor. So then I start pacing. I see him walk back into the house. The son is standing there in shock, crying. I call the authorities. I have to call emergency. I have to report it. I've just seen my neighbor physically abusing his son. The police come, they take my statement. They go to their house, they take the statement. But so at first I called the police, made the statement. I'm pacing, I'm trying to work through my energy of this shock of what I've just seen. And I go to his house and I knock on the door, and I make sure my husband's with me just in case he gets violent with me. I do all the talking. I was the one that saw what I saw. I was the one that screamed. My husband didn't, he was looking at me like, what are you doing? Who are you yelling at? It didn't compute. So by the time he came to the window, the fight had stopped. So I call the police, I report it, I go down the stairs and I knock on the door, and I go and talk to him. And I say, what did I just witness? And we get into it. And he's breathless, and he's apologizing all over the place. And he said, in my country, where I come from, we speak to our children, we discipline them with words, and if they don't listen to us, the second step is to beat them. To which I replied, in Canada, it is illegal to beat our children, to beat anyone's children, to beat any child. It is illegal to physically abuse a child. And he said, yes, but where I am from in my country, you do the first step, you talk to them, and then the second. So he repeated himself. Second step is to then beat them. To which I said again, it is illegal in Canada to beat children. And then there were other things said, and I said it is also illegal in Canada for someone to witness the abuse of a child and not report it. So I will be reporting you. And he said, I know. And then the police came, and there's now an investigation with the Ministry of Children and Families. A whole investigation has begun because I reported it. And it's been very difficult to go through this for me, but all I can think of is this boy that I witnessed getting beaten senselessly by his father, because in their country where they come from, this is what you do. So this, I'm bringing this up to share. This is a perfect example of what eclipses do. I never for 1 minute expected any of this to happen. Again, I'm sitting at home in my own damn house, minding my own damn business, watching the Tragically Hip. And, I'm full body goosebumps right now because this is eclipse energy. You don't need to manifest anything. You don't need to work on anything. Something's going to show up. And how do you respond? Right? And so everybody is being encouraged to act like an Aries, be a hero, do the damn thing, say the damn thing, which I did. Okay, which I did. And the other main component here is not only it's an eclipse, so it's very surprising what's going on, what happens, what comes in. It's the last thing I ever expected to happen. And then the other thing is this is Pluto going through Capricorn, crumbling down these systems that are no longer working. So again, this man that I spoke to after I witnessed him abusing his child, he repeatedly said, this is what we do in our country. This is what we do. This is how we discipline children. It is illegal to hit children, and it should be illegal to hit people when you don't get your way. Okay. So I might get comments. Who knows? I might get a whole bunch of comments, accusing me of, I don't know, being racist or being intolerant to other cultures. But I'll tell you this, no culture, no religion is going to convince me that it's okay to hit a child. And so these kind of top-down structures need to crumble. Okay, this needs to end. This is so Pluto going through Capricorn in its final last lesson. No religion is worth listening to if they tell you to beat your child. No heritage, tradition, country, no traditional, my father did it and his father did it. No tradition, no family tradition, no cultural tradition is okay when you beat your child. It's not okay. And so this is exactly Pluto finishing up its transit in Capricorn, saying these top-down structures that have been going on for years and years and decades and centuries, they need to go. And this was the final eclipse with Pluto and Capricorn. The next eclipse, Pluto will be in Aquarius. It will be a new world. Pluto into Aquarius is a whole new world. And I will do an upcoming video on what Pluto and Aquarius is. It's the age of Aquarius, as the great song goes, right? And so what a whirlwind, this new moon solar eclipse has been for me, for my family. We've debriefed with my own children. They witnessed me reacting, responding, reporting it. The police came to our house. My children were all there. We've had major discussions with our children since. Our children, they're all teenagers. They all know that you have to report abuse. You have to. So we've had that discussion. They knew this. Their schools taught them this. You can't turn a blind eye here in Canada. You don't turn a blind eye, especially to a child being abused. So you have to call the authorities, it's all this stuff, right? And so well, I sincerely felt like what I witnessed also was that man that was raging on his son. Like when I called him on and I was yelling at him to like to stop. Like I sincerely felt like he was brought out of a rage that was on automatic. And who knows? I really don't know the impact that I've made on that family. I can only hope the boy is safe, that it's being dealt with by the authority. I know it's being dealt with by the authorities. I am a social worker. I know that social workers go in and assess, and the police are dealing with it. It isn't full-on investigation now. I can only hope that the boy's voice is being heard now. I can only hope that the family realizes, like, actually, okay, just because my dad did it and his dad did it and my country does it and my political system tells me to do it, that you don't do that. You don't do that. It's not okay to do that. I can only hope that I intervened and I made an impact in a positive way. I can only hope. So that's just my one story of this new moon solar eclipse with Pluto finishing. It's the last eclipse with Pluto in Capricorn. And so much has happened for so many people. That's my story. It was a powerful one. I wanted to share it with you all. But I know my own phone has been blowing up from friends, family, clients, just like telling me their eclipse stories. So many different things. And again, it's like you're minding your own damn business a lot of the time. I sincerely thought, and I should have known better, but I sincerely thought mine was completely relationship based, because I've been following the cosmos as an astrologer, following the intuitive guidance to end the relationships that are no longer serving me. And I have stories about that with people that in my life that have come and gone since the North Node has been in Aries and the South Node in Libra. And these eclipses have really transformed a lot of my personal relationships. So I sincerely thought that I was like clear on this new moon solar eclipse and the lessons have been learned, and I can just sit back and watch my Prime special of the Tragically Hip and just be like, oh yeah, thinking other people out there are really dealing with it right now. And boom, what a surprise. So just goes to show you don't know what's going to happen at eclipse season. And I can only hope that the report that I have made has made a positive impact for that boy that was beaten senselessly by his father. His father was in a rage. And I've been working on healing, just clearing that energy out of my body. When you witness abuse, it is traumatic. So I've been working on that. Who knew I'd have to do that for myself? But of course, it's not about me, it's about that boy. And I've been putting out all the feels for him. I personally, at almost 50 years old, I have never been hit. I am very blessed to say that. And that boy at 15 years old was beaten senselessly by his own father. And who knows if that was the first time. So for all those people out there, all those children that have had to be at the hand of abuse, like all of those feelings and all of that has come up for me. And I've been working on clearing out the energy. That's been a big lesson for me. Now I'm asking the cards for some intuitive guidance for all of us. What was this new moon solar eclipse? We need to debrief. We need some guidance. So I'm going to ask the tarot for some guidance, and I'm going to share it with you right now. I've got my deck of cards that you can find. This is my very favorite. It's called the Witchy. I think it's called the Witch's Tarot. This is my very favorite deck. And I've got a link for that if you'd like to check it out. at my Amazon shop. It's not my own Amazon shop, but it's just my links, my favorite Amazon links. Okay, I'm asking the cards for some intuitive guidance. Please do share your eclipse stories. What was your eclipse story? I've been hearing them. My phone has been blowing up, and I myself have been so shocked at what showed up in my life. Never in a million years did I think that was going to happen, but it's the power of eclipses. It's the power of Pluto ending its transit with the eclipse and Pluto finishing its final lessons in Capricorn. This was bound to be a powerful eclipse. So let's ask the tarot for some guidance for all of us after this new moon eclipse, this new world, the final lessons from Capricorn. Let's just hear it. Let's pull a card. Knight of Swords in reverse. Okay, here it is. The Knight of Swords in reverse. So upright, the Knight, he's he's a bit more of an immature energy than the King. He's not the King yet. But it doesn't mean that he hasn't been working on himself, right? It doesn't mean that he's not getting there, but it's more like teenager versus man. And again, this is non-gender specific, right? And the swords is all about your thinking. This is all about what's going on. Are you raging? Are you thinking good thoughts? Are you thinking horrific thoughts? Are you fighting? Swords is fighting. So again, an immature energy. He's been trying, but he's not there yet. Not only did he come in reverse, he's not the King yet. The Knight is never the King. He's never mature like the King until he is, and he's trying. But this guy came in reverse, and this is a lot about fighting. I bet you there's been a lot of fighting, a lot of monkey mind, just like overthinking. If you're not fighting with other people, you're fighting with yourself, right? And it's an immature energy, and it needs to go. I'm just gonna ask the bottom card. The bottom card is the Seven of Cups. I always go to so I pull the top, and then I go to the very bottom to summarize maybe the message. Seven of Cups is like too many decisions. I don't know where to go. It's like shiny squirrel. It's like that kind of thing. It's also too much. It's too much. And so that's the feeling I got, like the fighting. I literally saw fighting outside of my bedroom window. I literally heard the yelling and the fighting, and it was too much. And who knows what was going on in that father's mind, the programming, the brainwashing that it takes to rage on your own child. I can't even imagine. I'm a mother of 4. It has never once occurred to me to hit my child. I have never been hit. It's certainly not my story. Physical abuse has not been in my life. I'm very blessed that way. And I have never hit my children. Now I'm just going to ask the Goddess Oracle, also a link to this. We got Khadijah, the mother of believers, the mother of believers. I am spiritually and financially abundant. I provide heaven and earth for myself. It was such a good reminder. Take care of yourself. It's like that funny thing, like Miss America. I want world peace. Well, so do I, Miss America. But if you sincerely want world peace, do you know where you need to find it? Within yourself first. And that's what this card says. It says, I provide heaven and earth for myself. And sincerely, if we want to change the world, this has taken me quite a while to understand. I got my social work degree in my early 20s. I was on a one-woman mission to save the world. And it's taken me now, almost 50 years old, to understand the world doesn't need saving. I have to look within myself, save myself. And when I take care of what's going on in my own heart and soul, that's when I emanate a certain level. That's when I can raise my vibration, and I can bring people up around me, my children, my husband, my family, my friends. You know, you're going to meet me up here because I'm going to be up here. Meet me up here. I'm going to raise my vibration, and that we're all being called to do that. We're all being called to drop into our hearts, get out of this monkey mind, brainwashing, programming that is not serving. So I brought up that story to share how that story that man is living is not serving him. It's not serving his children. It's not serving anyone. It's not serving his neighbors. It's not serving anyone. To be, well, that's just the way it is in my country. That's what we do to our children. That's not okay. We don't beat children. We don't use violence to get our way. And aren't we seeing that in the world around us? And it's coming to a crescendo. It needs to end. We need to find peace within ourselves. We all need to learn how to drop into here. You sincerely think that if you dropped into your heart and asked your heart, how do I deal with my troubled teen? Your heart's going to tell you to beat your troubled teen. No, you're never going to get that answer from your heart. We're all being asked to get out of here, not to completely leave it. Our minds have served us well, but we've all been living in the mind for so long, and the programming that needs to end, and it is coming to a crescendo right now. Pluto's ending its story in Capricorn, and we're going into Aquarius. Pluto into Aquarius is power to the people. Pluto in Capricorn has been taking power away from the top tier, from the top down. So all of those corrupt institutions, corrupt business leaders, you know, the corrupt traditions telling us to beat our children, the corrupt religions telling us that women are less than men and we need to beat the women. All of that, it's all being stopped with Pluto going through Capricorn. And we all need to reprogram our minds and drop into our hearts and ask our hearts, what should I do? I don't know what to do. I've been programmed my whole life to do it this way, but there's got to be another way. And maybe, just maybe, by me reporting what I saw, maybe that will be the wake-up call for that particular family to be like, okay, so just because it's been going on for centuries and traditions in my country, you can't do that here. You can't do that anymore. And so what should we do instead? And can't we all ask ourselves, how can we rewire the programming, that which is no longer serving ourselves and others? Can't we all ask ourselves that? And back to that Miss America, peace on earth thing. Miss America, I also want peace on earth, but first, Miss America, I have to get peace within my own heart. And then each person that comes to peace within their own heart, that's how you get peace on earth. It's not picketing, anti this, anti that, doing the Facebook posts. This is what's wrong with the world. That's actually not how you get world peace. That's actually not how you do it. You get world peace by going here first and asking yourself, how can I rewire the programming and learn how to respond versus react? Get out of those knee-jerk reactions. That's exactly what I have written in this book. That's exactly what I encourage everybody to do, is to rewire and to ask yourself, you know, what's another way? And I provide brain hacks. It just says how to hack your brain using astrology and shadow work. That's the subtitle of my book. And one of my favorite brain hacks that I just shared in the podcast just prior, when I was interviewing Joanna, I said one of my favorite brain hacks that I included in this book, and it's the one that has helped me the most, is the Dolores Cannon rewrite the script approach. And so Dolores taught all of us to rewrite our own script. And she says that we're all the producer. We are the director, the producer, the actor. We are the main star of our own play. So if you don't like the way your world is going, if you don't like the way that your life is going, rewrite the script. If you don't like that particular character in your life anymore, write them out. If you want a certain kind of character to enter into the play of your life, write them in. And she says, we just don't know how powerful we are, but we are that powerful. And so I provide you that brain hack, the Dolores Cannon brain hack of rewrite the script. And then I give you room to do journaling, and I give you journal prompts on how to do that. And that's just one of the brain hacks that I use. And I think we're all being called to do this deep work. It's not about getting on our soapbox, again, writing the Facebook posts, saying what's wrong with the world, fighting with our friends and our neighbors. It's not about that. It's about looking within our own heart and saying, this isn't working anymore. I've been on repeat. This particular knee-jerk reaction has been happening, and I continue to react like that. And when I look around, I'm not very pleased with what's going on in the play of my life and the people that are here, or the way that the people are acting. How can I become the CEO of my own life and change that? And it's this rewrite the script brain hack, taking radical responsibility for yourself, blaming no one. It's not about getting caught in a victim story. And I talk about that a lot in the book. And taking responsibility for your side of the story, your side of the fence, if you will, and working on your own energy. And I have been doing that. For me to sit here and share this story with you, and encourage others to share their stories, it takes courage for me to speak about it. And I don't know that my nervous system could have handled this even 10 years ago, 5 years ago. And yet here I am now sharing these stories to encourage others to share their stories. And we need to energy cleanse. We need to get that energy out. Prior, I would ruminate over what I saw, over the abuse that I saw. I would ruminate for so long in the past, and I've worked on regulating my nervous system. I've worked on tools to get the visions out and to stop ruminating, all that stuff. We all need to take responsibility for stuff like that, so that we can keep our energy clear and keep our energy high, especially for those of us, that I'm raising 4 children, I'm busy. I'm constantly doing all the things, right? And if I go low, complain, victim story, blame, my kids are going to pick up on that energy. And that's doing no one any good. And how am I contributing to what Miss America wants, world peace? So please do share your eclipse stories in the comments. I know there are many. My phone's been blowing up, like I said. I want to hear your eclipse story. And I want you to share your thoughts about this final Pluto and Capricorn story. How's it been showing up for you too? I just think it's so important. I think we need a debrief after each eclipse. And I think that I'm going to do a debrief, share what came up for me. What is my eclipse story? Encourage you to share yours, pull the cards, get some more advice from the tarot. And I think that what I'm hearing from the tarot and the oracle is to get out of the monkey mind, rewire the brain, drop into the hearts, and start telling different stories, not only to other people, but to ourselves, so that we can rewrite the script, so that we can live this life that we envision. And that is Pluto in Aquarius, sorry. Pluto in Aquarius is power to the people, and it's also the future. It's the future. How will you transform the future? Pluto transforms. Aquarius is the future. How are you going to transform your future and the future of your family? And it's all about taking responsibility for your own energy. And how do you show up daily? What are you doing? Are you just behaving the way that your father and your grandfather behaved just because? There's a great excuse right there. Well, that's the way my parents did it, so I'm going to keep doing it, even though you can see very well that it's not working for your children. You're in fact harming and traumatizing your children by reacting the way that your parents or your grandparents did. It's time for all of us to take a hard stop and take a hard look at ourselves and see what we are repeating that is not working. And in fact, it is harmful. So please do. I'm encouraging all of you, Share your eclipse stories, share what you've been working on. For me, I've been sharing in these videos previous to this one how I've been tidying up my codependency and my attachments. For me, that's a big life lesson of taking radical responsibility for my half of the equation, my side in relationships, blaming no one, and cutting out, saying goodbye, having boundaries, dropping the codependency, dropping the attachments, and living in relationships that are serving me as opposed to not serving me. And if I am not surrounded by tons of relationships as I used to, I'll have a million friends, this and that. If that's not, if I have highs and lows and dips of friendships because I've had to say goodbye, then that's what you have to do. And you blame no one, and you don't sit around and gossip about them. What you do is you take responsibility for yourself and you take the time. Oh, it's like, oh, now I've got some time to work on myself some more. Okay. And you know that that's going to open the door for relationships that work. That's what I've been working on. That was my eclipse story. Share with me. How has Pluto going through Capricorn served you? What have you been working on? And what is your new moon solar eclipse story? Do you have a big story like I did? And yeah, let's keep the conversation going. Let's change the conversation in many ways. Let's keep it going and share your stories with us. Thank you.